Hey, what's good, everybody? We're at week 12 of me building my first AI agent project called Schedule AI. And so, Schedule AI is basically a schedule that is entirely managed using an AI agent. And it's specifically made for students who, like, sometimes they have hard time to create good schedule because they have a lot of stuff to put inside of their schedule, such as exams, assignments. They have to work a lot of the time. They also have to make time for their friends, and so all of that stuff can be hard to manage. And so that's the goal you're using in AI basically to manage your schedule. And so last week I showed you guys that I was trying to like integrate the Google system inside of my web app for like the event. And so like last week I showed you that, for example, if the user connected using Google and gave access to his Google Calendar, well, every event we created inside of our calendar using AI would then get transfer inside of that Google Calendar. And like the opposite where it was also working, where if I create an event inside of the Google Calendar, that event would then get transfer inside of the schedule AI. And so last week, like I showed you like this sort of demo right there, but there was still like some bugs that were not fixed. Where like if I deleted an event inside of my own calendar, well, that event wouldn't get deleted inside of the Google Calendar. And there was also bugs where sometimes I would create a Google event inside of the Google Calendar. Then that event would then show up inside of my calendar, but I couldn't like update that event because it was still assigned to the Google Calendar. Well, like all of that, but so basically that's what this week I did. Like I fixed the bugs related to that issue, and also I think I talked to you guys about the other issue where basically, and that's pretty much what I did this week. It was fairly long. I had this thing where, like at the start when I first started the project, I by default I created like inside of the user table where every user gets stored. Well, by default, because it was only me using the app, well, I assigned to myself the ID equal to 1. So the ID is basically just for us to navigate through the database and to be able to fetch certain user or to assign like specific events to a specific user. And basically, I was using the number 1 as an ID for that user, which was only me. But the problem there is you can't have like the ID to only equal to number 1 because first of all, like it's not secure at all. Because imagine like another user, uh, he could like simulate being the ID number 1, and then it would get access to like everything inside of your calendar, and knowing that it's then linked to your Google Calendar after that, because your Google Calendar ID is like sort of stored with that same user ID, which I'm going to be showing to you just in a quick second. But yeah, basically only keeping like the ID to a certain number, like it wasn't really smart. Obviously, that was not my like what I had in mind for like the final goal, but it was just temporary. And I like right now I found myself where I'm at that point where I want to like add those things so it can be like more secure and more like of a real use case. And so yeah, so first off, not secure at all. So then what, like, how do you replace the like just the singular number ID for something like more secure? Well, you use something called UUID, which I'm going to be showing it to you. and it's basically like characters, like letters and numbers, uh, like a random. I think it's sort of like an algorithm that just make a string of like number and character, and like I will show you like it's really you could not guess this like this code sort of by yourself, so it's way more secure. And also what I added is the possibility to have multiple user that have certain events assigned to them, because originally we only had the user ID 1, and so every event would then get added inside of the user ID 1. So let me show you what I mean. It's gonna be way more easier when I do that. um, Gonna start right there using the user. So right there I can show you we have the ID right there, the user ID. Well, actually you can't see nothing, but yeah, like that. Okay, so right there, what you have here is your UUID, which is basically this sort of a long password, and this is basically assigned to your user. Uh, you have my email right there, and so um, yeah, this ID is now assigned to this specific user. And if we go look inside of our plan, um, like here you have all of our like some random events. Well, if you go look, um, here you have like the specific user ID, which is linked to the user right there. So basically, the events, I store a owner ID inside of it, so that after that I can link the events with the good user. And like I had to change basically everything we did linked to the database, where like plans, classes, events, because all of that you want have that assigned to a specific user. And so I had to change all of that, and I had a lot of bugs that like sometimes I just for because let me show you. So it's sort of hard to explain, but we're gonna do where if I created an event, for example, right here, as you can see, we have the post endpoint to create an event. So right now, as you can see, it's saying current user ID, and this current user ID is fetching from a special file, which return actually the current ID that is signed in inside of the website. So basically, you know how when you sign in last week episode, I showed you like the sort of token feature of Google. And so what that does is, like, for example, if a user is signed in, it's sort of like token gets stored inside of your page to give him access to the website. And so using that, you can actually, because if the user is on the website with that token, well, you know that it's this specific user, right? Because that token is only like can only be used by this certain user. So if the user is on that page, well, you know, okay, it's like if the user has that token, well, it's this user. I don't know if you understand what I meant by that, but so yeah. So this, I'm gonna show you like all of the code behind it, but basically it gets the current user ID, and then it sent it through this function, the create event function, and then after that, using that, we can actually fetch the good owner ID, and then we can create an event using that. But like this thing there, where with the current user ID, well, before that it was owner ID equal 1. So basically, every ID were equal to one. And so I don't know if you can see, but only there's all of that, which had to be changed inside of there too. And like changing this stuff, it's just long. It's not really complicated, but it was more the part where how to fetch the current user ID that kept getting bugs. And so that's pretty much what I did this week. I'm currently at the end of my session at school, so I didn't have quite time to do a lot of progress. But it's I think it's my last week of class, so yeah. Next week I'm gonna try to do what I talked last week in episode week 11, where I want to add like a sort of a dashboard with all your next exams, assignments, and like I want the agent to actually give you a reminder to complete certain assignments and whatever. So yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at right now, and so I'll see you guys next week. And yeah, I'm excited about that. See ya.